that we can put it on my Dauphine and everyone can have access. Yeah, it's starting to record now. Right. All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending the session. And welcome to our presentation about the year 3 in the campus of Dauphine, London. I'm Charlene from the marketing team, and I will be presenting tonight with Maximilian Hoell, our Undergraduate Programme Director. So hi, Maximilian. And so the program Licence Sciences des Organisations here is called Bachelor in Economics and Management, but of course it leads to the exact same diploma. And at the end of the 3 years, you're going to have the same diploma. It's just a name that is called differently in English. So we're going to have a few slides to show you, and then we're going to have some time for a Q&A at the end, so you can ask any question. Right, so let's get started. So here are a few pictures of our gorgeous campus, including some photos of our outdoor spaces, as you can see. For example, at the bottom right of the screen, you can see our lovely rooftop. And just to say a few words about Dauphine London, as you may know already, we are one of the international campuses, part of Université Paris Dauphine, PSL, and we were founded here in London in 2014. We first started with a small cohort of 25 students only, but since then we've grown up quite a lot because we have about 250 students yearly now. We are a boutique family-sized campus, which means that it's easier to grow bonds with your peers, with your classmates, and it's also easier for lecturers to know every student by name. And we also have a lot of activities. There's dozens of student societies available, and extracurricular activities. Even during the pandemic, we managed to put on some yoga classes, alumni career breakfasts, some bake sales, different things. And of course, we combine the best of both worlds, the best of the French and British education systems. We have, for example, a partnership with University College London, UCL, for foreign language classes. So it gives students the opportunity to access and experience one of the biggest universities in the UK as well. So next slide. So here you can see where we are located. So I don't know if you know a bit London already, but basically we have quite a central location. It's ideal for students to really immerse in the city. London, which is one of the most globally connected and largest financial and economics business hubs in the world. And actually London has been rated the world's #1 city for students by QS for the 2nd year in a row. And we are located next to Angel Station, so it's basically in Zone 1. It's a very buzzing young area. We are close to East London, which is quite popular among our students. We are also very close to the city and close to King Cross, St. Pancras, so we are about 15-minute walk from the station. Can be very convenient when you want to go in Paris for the weekend to taking the Eurostar. And of course, we are also within walking distance of with the UCL campus. Right, so that's it from me. I'm gonna hand over now to Maximilian, and I'll come back at the end.
Thanks very much, Charlene. Hi, everyone. Like Charlene has just said, my name is Max Hoell. I'm the Interim Undergraduate Programmes Director here in London. And what I would like to do this evening is just say a few words about the Year 3 specialization, the Year 3 specialization management that we offer here in London. So I think one of the first points to note is that the program in London is obviously fully delivered in English, and therefore we have quite an international team delivering that program. And what you see on the slide here now are just a couple of examples. So really the academic team comes from all over. We have colleagues from the United States, colleagues from Ireland, myself, I'm German, but of course also a good number of colleagues from the UK. And the one thing that unifies us all is that we all have a very international education. So we all studied at lots of different universities across the world, really. Can I have the next slide, Shalene? Thank you. So here on this slide is a quick overview of the structure for the third year. Now you will specialize in management, obviously, and you can choose whether or not you want to do the full year with us here in London, or whether you only want to do a single semester, whether that's the first semester or the second semester. That is completely your choice. But what I would say is that obviously you are specializing in management in the third year. So there's a specific module, for instance, called, or there's specific modules that gives you all the essentials in management. But in addition to that, one of the things that makes the London track really special is the emphasis on language proficiency. And of course, along with that, we do still give you some modules that are not strictly speaking related to management. So for instance, in the third year, and I'll show you a slide on that in just a moment with the specific modules that you would be taking with us in London. But in the third year here in London, for instance, there's a couple of social sciences modules, and of course, we offer opportunities for you to develop your soft skills and networking opportunities. Now, that brings me to the point about what happens after the third year. So once you graduate from Dauphine, there's various options available to you. Now, you could either obviously choose a more specialized master's at Dauphine in Paris, whether that's in economics and finance, international affairs and development, strategy, marketing, quantitative economics, accounting, organization management, innovation management, and so on and so forth. Or, of course, you could go on, like some of our alumni have done, to pursue a master's degree in the UK or at another university. And this is quite typical for British students, many British students actually choose to kickstart their careers straight out of the undergraduate program. And of course, this is an option that would also be available to you. You could then apply straight after your undergraduate program to a graduate scheme, for instance, with one of the big firms here in the UK in order to start your career, and then go on to do a master's a bit further down the line, if that is something that you're interested in. Okay, can I have the next slide? Thank you. So what makes the London track really special? Well, first off, one of the aims of the programs that we offer here in London really is to educate the next generation of international business leaders. And the entire program here in London really is designed with that in mind. So like Shalene has already said, London is obviously one of the major financial hubs in the world today, and therefore by being in London, by being taught in English, we're hoping that we're giving you a competitive edge in the labor market, whereby you have evidence that you can combine the best of both worlds, really the best of what the British and the French higher education systems have to offer. Now, second, and I think that's something that I've already alluded to, is that obviously the program here in London is taught entirely in English, and that is of course something that would be of interest to many employers. So the aim is that by the end of the third year with us here in London, you will reach at least C1 in English, so on the European Common Language Framework scale, level C1. And of course, we have adapted our modules here in London specifically to give you that British touch to it. So for instance, we have a module here in London called English and Communication, but of course you're also getting an education or you also have the possibility to take modules in sociology, in law. And then building off that, what I would say is that we in London, on the London campus specifically, we try to do our best to really connect our students to the professional world. So for instance, next Monday, we are starting the mentoring program for this year. So we have almost 50 mentors from our Dauphine London alumni who are acting as a mentor to our current students to talk about anything that our students might be interested in. And of course, that would be something that would be open to you if you chose to do the third year or aspects of the third year with us here in London. Now, beyond that, we also offer a number of alumni events here in London. So we have alumni breakfasts, for instance. This evening, we're also hosting a webinar where we bring in some external speakers from industry to talk about COP26, sustainability and climate change. And again, there are lots of events that we're putting on here in London, really to give our students the opportunity to connect with industry professionals as early on as possible, and of course, as often as possible. We also have an in-house startup incubator on campus here in London. So if that is something that you're interested in, there would be lots of opportunities for you to get involved. And finally, the London campus has an agreement with UCL, so University College London, where you have the option of studying a second foreign language at UCL. And if you choose to do that, of course, you get access to all of the student societies, the libraries, and the sports grounds that University College London has to offer. Okay, can I ask the next slide, please, Shailen? Thank you. So that just brings me to this slide here. I'd just like to say a quick word about what the program aim of the third year and the overall bachelor's in economics and management really is here in London. So like I've already said, we hope that our students will become well-rounded, adaptable and high standards professionals. We hope that our students really will have strong analytical skills, problem-solving skills and the communication skills they need in order to thrive in their future careers. So we are really looking for students with quite an international outlook. We're really looking for students who are interested in pursuing a slightly more international career path. And to help our students achieve that, we not only emphasize high academic standards and a high proficiency in languages, but of course we also offered personalized and tailored guidance. So for instance, like Shailen has already said, our campus in London is quite small. It's in many ways a boutique campus. And that gives us the advantage that our classes are taught in very small groups, so there's about 20 to 30 students in any one group at any one time. And of course, the big advantage here is that this small group setting really allows lecturers to get to know students by name and to get to know students a bit better so that they can do the very best to give them the most personalized and tailored guidance that the students might need. Okay. And then my penultimate slide is one about the curriculum. So here's a list of the specific modules that you would be taking with us in London in the third year. So in the first semester, it's courses like controlling and management organizations, marketing, the basics of strategy, but also modules from the social sciences and law areas. For instance, we have a module that's called Current Issues in Sociology, a module on employment law. But of course, like I've already said, there's one module called English and Communication that's really designed to get your English level up to that C1 level that I talked about a bit earlier on. And then finally, there is an elective in a foreign language. So you can choose from a range of foreign languages that you might be interested in. In the second semester, the modules on offer are accounting and financial reporting, corporate finance, human resources management, economic aspects of globalization, business law, corporate tax law, English and communication, and employability skills and professional experience, plus, of course, an foreign language elective or an elective in financial mathematics. And that brings me to my final slide, and that's quite simply a number of snapshots to showcase that what we offer in London really is a well-rounded student experience. It's not just about the academic side of things, but we really believe that student life is about so much more than that. So in London, there's a range of societies that you could join if you're interested in that. There's one, for instance, called Dauphine, a society that's heavily interested in climate change and sustainability issues, but there's many others. And of course, we have the Dauphine London Student Union that is in charge of organizing student life. And in addition to that, we organize day trips to some of the highlights that the UK has to offer. So in the past, for instance, our students have gone on a day trip to Oxford together with our Dean of Student Life, Kevin Coyne, and there are various of these excursions planned throughout the year. The other point that I would make here, like I've already alluded to, if you come to study with us in London, you also get access to all of these student societies that UCL has to offer. So again, there's lots of opportunities there to entertain yourselves on the extracurricular side of things and to pursue your interests. I think I'll leave it there and I'll hand back over to Shalene to say a few words about applying to the London track. Thank you.
Yes, so last but not least, how to apply. So Patricia did mention it a little bit, but basically the semester at Dauphine London is open to students that who have validated their second year, obviously, and who have chosen the specialization management, so Gestion in French, for the third year. And we also required English test results. So we ask for a minimum of B2 level. And application must be sent via the Dauphine internal procedure. So it's my candidature. And the Windows application date for that is from 3rd of March, and it's closing on the 19th of May, 2022. The year is incorrect on my slide. I just spotting this. Sorry about that, but yeah, that's basically the same date as last year, that's why. As for the fees, the 2022-23 fees have not been voted yet, but just so you know, this year the yearly fee are at £9,600, and for a semester it's about 4,800. So the fees should be more or less similar to that, but they will be confirmed later. Of course, you have to include and have in mind that there's a price of accommodation, and there is a few scholarships available, one of them being the Crous bursary holders that can apply and have this scholarship. Right, so this is the end of the session now. So we're just gonna start to have your question. If you have any question, you can see here that there's the email address in case you have any question later. I also put there the Instagram page of our student ambassadors, so don't hesitate to follow them and ask them any question directly on the Instagram. And I'm going to stop the recording now, and don't hesitate to ask your question. So where I am gonna stop the recording, it's here. Stop recording.